Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you join us for yet another Mountain West Grand Championship. Boise State has been winning so many of these over the past few years, it feels like it's just another day at the office. But yet again, the Broncos want to add to their winning repertoire by going up against their old rival, the legendary Mountain West rivalry between Boise State and UNLV. Where Boise State continue on their winning streak, I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Bryce Jensen to call all of the action for you and find the answer to that very question. Now, Bryce, I understand you've been talking with the Broncos, and for a rivalry as prestigious as this, I understand the Broncos might have a little bit of a trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, so we've all become accustomed to what Boise State Broncos really like to run. We've seen the wrecking ball. We've seen a lot of the goofy compositions that they come up with. But going into the interview, I was more expecting them to say, we're gonna take this a little bit more meta. We're gonna take it a little bit more. I shouldn't say seriously because they take everything super serious, but they're going to give us something that we've seen a lot, maybe not out of the Mountain West Division, but if you keep in touch with OWCS or those competitive leagues, something that you'd see out of there. But what I was told, Boise State has a few extra tricks up their sleeve that we may not be expecting. And they said that if UNLV manages to chew through the layer of fat that is the wrecking ball composition, as protective as it is, they have a lot more aces up their sleeve that they are ready to dish out at a moment's notice. And I don't know about you, but I am excited to see how they decide to shake it up in a way.
Yep, Boise State might bring out, they might bring out something a little bit off kilter, especially because of the unexpected April 1st patch notes that we see. I mean, we're seeing the metagame completely be shifted. I mean, did you see Wrecking Ball now just grows every time he hits somebody?
He is turned into a character that benefits from snowballing into a character that is a snowball.
I mean, Boise State already liked the Wrecking Ball before this patch hit, but I think personally, the championship has already been decided. Blizzard, I think they really threw a bone to Boise State, a team that's known for their wrecking ball.
And, just looking at the previous patch notes as well, Orisa, on top of getting a ton of buffs last season, has gotten several buffs this season that allow Hanzo to team up and become a mounted bowman. And I don't know about Hanzo players from Boise State, but we do have players like Diamond Dog who have played characters like Torbjorn, those more projectile-based characters. Mm-hmm. And, Hanzo has pretty much the same gameplay as Torbjorn. You spam your arrows down a corridor for the entire game. You get a pick or two, and then you put yourself on the horseback, and you're going to be even better, proving that our production was right and that Orisa is going to be meta this season.
Well, and here's the thing. Every single football game, they ride out, someone rides out on the Bronco. This is the equivalent of that. We ride out on Orisa. Let everyone know the Broncos are here. And the Broncos are here for a rivalry that has been so prevalent in the Mountain West. These students, this opening lineup here, are just the latest in a long tradition of trying to beat UNLV.
And speaking of players, we do have the starting lineup for tonight's games. We have Clear, Hex, Lyric, Strider, and Maxwell coming out of the gate in order to get a good head start to Boise State. Start off strong with the Wrecking Ball comp, presumably, and see where it all goes from there, especially with the new snowball changes they added.
And for those of you who might not just know about the storied history between these two teams, I do believe we have a little bit of a video showcasing the history of Boise State and UNLV in the Mountain West. Most definitely, as we can hear the music swelling up for the occasion, the Mountain West Grand Finals, Spring 2023. We will decide who is the grand champion. No more time for speculation. No more time for waiting. It's going to be decided now. Boise State, for the first engagement, Boise State's going to be in blue.
And we have Clear rolling out on the Diva. Matt Merck picking up the mantle, playing Sombra. We have Plato on Tracer. Bagel on that Lucio, and Chosen on the Kiko. Already finding 2 eliminations. The Tracer and the Sojourn for the side of UNLV have been sent to spawn. Kernmaster is hacked and goes down.
Boise State seems to be pretty solidly winning this team fight. They're going to be parlaying that into taking the point first. That Kiriko's trying to get away. Hey, Doggo just going to be able to escape, but not for any humor. He's sent back to spawn. That's going to
Diva EMP with their ults combo.
Well, Boise State is going to bring out the EMP. Goes on to Kern and Hay, but they are able to recover for it. And looks like it's the defense matrix is going to eat up that pulse bomb. Hertz gets a pick onto Bagel. Could be an opening for UNLV to move in. Boise State is going to be moving back to the point off of that one pick that the Rebels got.
D.Va, Primal Rage is popped just to try to sustain on point a little bit longer. There's possibility that the enemy Tracer can get on point. Recall is forced. I do not believe they'll have, no, they were eliminated. There is no time for UNLV to touch the point, and that is 100% to 0 for the Broncos on point 1 of Oasis. A team with 3 ultimates, almost 4. The Broncos don't have beat online to counter one of those major CC ults. However, the Cassidy with that Deadeye is going to go down before they even make the choke point. Wall early, trying to break off the tank from the backline of Broncos, is going to be removed. Bagel wall rides, manages to get clear into safety.
UNLV is throwing everything that they have to keep this Reinhardt alive. He's going to get walled off again. Ramatra is going to bring out his punches, trying to take him out. Plato eliminates Hey Doggo. High Noon brought out in response. He's going to pick up Bagel. Birdie Humor holding on just for health. After a whole bunch of utility, to have a re-engagement from Birdie Humor. It's the Doomfist that we were talking about. And Boise State seems ready for that one. Bowling him down. And Boise State claims the first of this best of 5.
The first play of the game.
Nice job. You can see the players there up all on the stage under the unwatchful eye of our Doc Haskell, who's no doubt is very proud of that first win, but we still got a ways to go. We got to choose the hybrid stage, and now's the time when we can engage in the point.
Play styles, that sort of stuff. It is, for competitive purposes, perfected. For storytelling and narrative purposes, not so much.
Kings Row is easily our best map. We got like that 97% win rate statistic, so I was confident on it. We were having fun. We played the comp that we always play in scrims. Usually Kings is our good map, so everyone performed very well.
All right.
He's been painting up on the statue. Runs out of punches, has to go back to his standard weapon. Bagel trying to find someone in Hotel is going to meet Hertz face to face. Boise State on positioning is going to be able to claim one tick.
One thing that's interesting is we saw Matt Merck wall up the Ana and do it again. Say goodbye to the main source of respawn. Matt Merck picking them up. And Kernmaster is going to be returned to the spawn as well by Plato. But Matt Merck is punished first for the Broncos. Plato returning the favor onto the enemy Hanzo.
There are 2 Rebels behind the Broncos. Plato takes care of one of them very fast. We'll see how this Ana can do. And no, so Boise State, Kern and Hato, the entire backline falls. And this Winston cannot stand in the face of Boise State.
Out goes enemy Dragons clear at sub-half health. Forced to use Nemesis form and getting chasing down 3-4 Suzu. That's a free annihilation. Down goes the Cassidy. Can they pick up the Kiko? Down goes Kernmaster. Down goes Hey Dogo. Oh, Plato went down in our backline to a nanoed Hanzo.
That nanoed Hanzo can't stand in the face of clear. One final punch, and Boise State claims the final point. 3 minutes left in overtime. For quite a flank is going to go right on. Just going to go back toward Boise State. Themselves.
UNLV is trying to utilize the high ground rotation. Hertz is going to find Plato, and we're going to have Hanzo take down Chosen. Hertz goes down to clear, but 42er found Matt Merck, and right now it looks like UNLV is going to become out victorious of this fight just in front of Archway.
Back toward Plato. Oh, Birdie Humor brings out the annihilation, and that takes out Matt Merck. State also has the Dragon Strike that was just used, and they're going to use Photon Barrier as well. Hey Doggo uses the Sound Barrier for survivability, and UNLV is now pushing forward to get to the point payload. 3 of them were able to teleport onto payload. Dragon Strike takes out Bagel. Plato is going to have their Pulse Bomb negated by that Immortality Field. And even though UNLV, they've gotten 2 eliminations, and that's what they need, Boise State isn't able to meet them on point. All right, Boise State now heads into overtime, needing to claim this first point. Cecio's going to try to wall ride around the Hotel sign. Looks like Boise State
from his team goes down, and now it is just this Hanzo left inside Hotel and the May. May is eliminated, and it's going to be Hanzo sent away, and an extra Pulse Bomb as the bow on top of the final gift to UNLV on Kings Row.
That's going to do it for Kings Row. Boise State wins that one as well.
Last map, let's go. Is this going to be the final destination for our Broncos?
Is also waiting on this rocket barrage. Could have something huge lined up. He moves in, he gets one, goes for two, and Hurts throws the grenade onto him and says, no thank you. I'm not dealing with that today. Collapses into the other team, immediately takes two. They're loose. Their Ana is also hurting for time, for health. Curran is going to help them get away. Now this Cassie is quickly collapsed on. The supports are left. Dago facing off against Lyric Clear. They're both taken out.
UNLV, Clear pushing into that backline, forcing Tracer and Ana to play more defensively. Ana is destroyed by micro missiles, as is Tracer. Most likely that is the last touch for UNLV, as there's a bomb on point. Cordy Toomer stalled out. 1 minute, 18 seconds. Broncos locked down Route 66.
They're finding a way to stay alive through all of this Pharah damage. We're going to move up to the top of the gas station, throw down the Winston shield. Goblin picks up Genji. Now moving forward, they force UNLV back. Has taken out their other DPS. And Curran and Daydog are also going to fall all the way back to just be enough. Pretty Humor is going to get taken out of their mech, and yep.
Just for extra measure. Not, Plato goes down. And Hurts goes down as well. We see Cordy Toomer bring out the Wrecking Ball. Is it time to play spin to win? You have 8 seconds to sustain, but instead you get booped and you get sent to the Shadow Realm.
And that's going to do it. Boise State sweeps it 3-0. Claims the Mountain West Championship again. All tied up for the 6 years these two teams have met. Boise State now has 3 wins to match the Rebels.
All right, so 20.
Congrats to the Broncos for winning the championships. And once again, the Broncos are the Mountain West 2023 champions.
That is 3 for the Broncos, 3 for UNLV. We're tied now. Question. I'm just trying.
So as you could see, those were the highlights from the 2023 Grand Finals. At that time, Boise State and UNLV were tied in the Overmount Championships. They win, but in 2024, Boise State won again. So they're looking for their 5th championship in a row. You can see here on the map selection, we're going to be starting out on Nepal. Bryce, one thing I want to share with you and the viewers before we get into the match, or as we're ready to get into the match, I don't know how production is going to put this up on the stage, but there was a little bit of graphic that UNLV shared in their team chat, kind of showcasing what they think of Boise State at this time, because the Broncos have been that dominant. As we're about ready, yeah, you can see right there they put Boise over the Eye of Sauron there. That's the reputation that Boise State has right now as they are getting ready to face off against the Rebels in the 2025 Mountain West Grand Finals in Overwatch.
All-seeing and all-knowing, and I guess we're going to see if that reputation is upheld tonight. And I, for one, am fairly excited. We've seen Cordy Toomer and Hurts. They have stayed on the UNLV team up until this year. However, it's a completely different team, and same could be said for Boise State as well. Clear and Clear and Lyric, the two that have been since 2023 and the only ones who remember those two as fondly as they remember them.
Yep.
But this will be the deciding, or not the deciding, well, it will be the deciding. I should just stop talking. But here we go. Map 1, Wrecking Ball comes out, but we should know better than to expect anything but.
Already, Strider's making a bit of room for himself. Gets this hit with the sleep dart right off the bat. They're going to try to punish him, but he tanks up on a whole bunch of health. Omniflarp, though, gets the first pick onto Clear. It's traded back as Mr. Mustard Man heads down. Boise State and UNLV now sitting dead, even at 4 apiece. Focusing down the hazard, and Boise State has Cordy Toomer off the board, and UNLV will have to retreat as Boise State wins the first team fight cleanly.
Although Strider is put to sleep, nothing can really be capitalized off of it because, I mean, Wrecking Ball just has so much health to chew through. You can't really kill him by yourself with just one sleep dart if you are a lone Ana. However, that is a completely different story if you get the rest of your team involved, and then Wrecking Ball turns into Wrecking Bomb, and then he blows up.
Oh, talk about bomb. A pile driver right into the back line of UNLV. Trying to focus down there on Omniflarp, very low on health. Strider, though, not sweating at all. Still very high on health. Slams on down with another pile driver. Gets hit with the sleep dart. Boise State just seems to be toying with their food as Kernmaster is eliminated. They'll finally get rid of Strider, but at what cost? All their attention is diverted to him, as Maxo and Clear just pummel the Rebels back to start.
That's the problem with Wrecking Ball. You turn so much attention to him that you take it away from your front line. And even if you ignore the Wrecking Ball, someone like Strider can capitalize on that so easily, especially with a support like Lyric in the mix with the anti-grenades. We saw it in that last fight. He just knows where to put them.
Boise State now coming up on 65%, maybe 2 team fights left if Boise State continues to hold the point. And they're having even more ultimates stack up. EMP and very soon Barrage available, as well as the Nano Boost. And there goes the EMP. It hits the entire backline of UNLV. Both their supports are wiped out. Both DPSs, and Cordy Toomer can only head off the edge to try to hope that they can regroup in time for one last fight.
I think they got one last fight in them. Omniflarp swapping over to the Tracer and all. That's a lot of mobility that you can use to get to the point, but 95% on the Strider mines. Both Nano Boosts being traded. Omniflarp running too, but Barrage takes out Hertz. Clear goes down to Mr. Mustard Man, but Strider repaying it in turn. Curtain Master going down. Minefield comes out. Mr. Mustard Man falls. Omniflarp soon to follow. And it is just Cordy Toomer left to contest. He's there for a little bit, but can he sustain? But Strider is doing too much. Mines come out, find themselves a kill, and that is going to be round 1 of map 1, taken by the Broncos.
I don't know if I've ever seen that angle of shooting be taken up directly up into the underside of the Shrine roof, because the D.Va is flying up in there.
Yeah, they gotta examine the architecture to make sure that it can withstand the D.Va bomb.
It's like a bug trapped in an electric.
Yeah, maybe there was just a really bright light that he wanted to go see.
Well, UNLV has been seeing a whole bunch of bright lights because they've been killed time and time and time again. They've moved into it every single time to respawn, only to meet a bitter end.
But map 2 is going to fall on Village. Arguably one of the hardest to play Wrecking Ball on, but at the same time, it's Strider. He's gonna try to find a way to put Wrecking Ball into every map if he can. But you know, that may not always be a bad thing. I mean, I would say that people don't expect it, but at this point, he's been playing Wrecking Ball all season, so I think they kind of expect it. But Strider already in their backline. That's got to be some sort of new record.
Oh, but he gets hit with the sleep dart again. He's been the #1 recipient. Heads on back to grab up some health. Doing so well for himself. You know, I wonder if he's going to go with the Pack Rat perk, just in case, you know, because he's basically been playing flanking every single time, so he wants a little bit of extra survivability, because all of the Rebels' attention has been on him.
I mean, I'm fairly certain he's the reason Hertz sleep dart accuracy is at 100% right now.
It's a big target. Well, Cordy Toomer and Omniflarp are going to find their first toehold. Strider and Clear are eliminated. There's just 3 Broncos left. One of them's hurting for health. Lyric gets to a health pack just in time. Boise State, though, not full resetting, more of a soft reset, poking UNLV where they can as they wait for their tank to regroup.
Oh no, Maxo almost just fell out of the map. Not having fuel for Farah is never a good place to be. Strider is going in onto Hertz, but the sleep dart misses. That big a target, he still finds a way to dodge it. Maxwell pummeling them from the back line. Hertz is going to go down to Strider, and Maxwell getting that chip damage in. But Omniflarp left on low health, gets punched by Clear. Strider taking out Omniflarp, and Boise State now just have to clean up the rest in order to take this point back.
Maxo gets the last pick on to Cordy Toomer to take the point back, though that's a healthy charge the Rebels built up for themselves. 40% is nothing to shy at. One good team fight here, and they might be able to keep their lead going, but the only ultimate they'll have to do so with is going to be this self-destruct. Meanwhile, Boise State has the Pulse Bomb and is getting close on the Barrage. One who ults first could be the one to take it all.
Oh, the one time I've ever seen Strider mess up a grapple because they put the bricks there. How could they do that? Hertz taken down to really low health, but D.Va is just there. Cordy Toomer with the defense matrix. Clear coming in for the kill with Maxwell. Takes out both supports. Maxwell does go down to Mr. Mustard Man, but they can only stay in it for so long before going down. No ults have been used so far, but out comes the self-destruct. Does not find anybody, and Cordy Toomer manages to stick in. He does get the point capture. Ticked past 100%, and now it is up to him and Mr. Mustard Man to keep that point ticking.
Strider just trying to take out that pilot D.Va and UNLV, though, very sneakily took the point back from Boise State, so they'll be able to get up to at least 70% here despite that team wipe. UNLV has put themselves in a situation where maybe if they just win one more team fight, they could ride that to victory. The only problem with that is that Boise State has a whole heck of a lot of ultimates to use to make sure that that never happens again.
Thing is, points win games, not players. And if UNLV is able to sneak that point that efficiently, then there's a fairly good chance that they sneak it again. They're already capturing the point once again. Boise State might have full ultimates, but that is not going to stop them from trying to get on point. But Mr. Mustard Man is going to fall very early into the fight. Hurts taking a ton of damage in the process. Rocket Barrage coming out, not finding anything. Recall is forced, and so is Minefield. Kitsune comes out of Lyric, not towards anybody in particular, but it is going to find Hurts in the process. Maxwell gets Kern Master, and that is going to force UNLV off the point after they were not able to take it. And
yet another
tumor.
Yeah.
Forced up the map once again.
Yeah, he's been having to jump off the map time and time and time again.
One might consider him an Olympic-level diver with how he jumps off the map. So graceful. So elegant.
Well, we're into final fight territory. Boise State has used 3 ultimates, and this allowed UNLV to save up 3 of their own. We'll see if Mr. Mustard Man can poop on Boise State's parade. We'll just have to find out. As he's not, as Clear sticks the pulse bomb onto him.
Oh, what perfect timing for that pulse bomb. They are going to start contesting the point, but that overtime clock is ticking down. One person does manage to get on. It will be on the floor, but he's taken out fairly quick. Kernmaster with the beat drop in order to try and get in, and out comes the Dragon Blade, trying to find anything. Kernmaster goes down, and with just Genji on the point, there's not a ton you can do, even with a Dragon Blade. Boise State takes a firm foothold, taking the first map of the series.
Nicely done by the Broncos. If you're a Boise State fan, nothing much to shake your fist at for that match. Now we get to enjoy the first play of the game, courtesy of Maxwell. You know, you were mentioning that Clear was one of those kind of veteran players, kind of the only ones who might remember this story, but Maxwell was actually a member of the Boise State team years ago too. His comeback for his senior year. Wants a piece of that championship action, but he can also testify to this intense rivalry Boise State has had with the Rebels. But I gotta admit, despite that great performance, I am very disappointed in one thing. And that's the fact that even though you claim that you're a man of many, many puns, Bryce, that you did not pick up on the mustard pun that I dropped at the very beginning of the last fight.
I mean, to be fair, I was really engrossed in that final fight. A lot of stuff was happening there. I mean, could you repeat the joke? Because
I said, will Mr. Mustard Man poop on Boise State's parade?
Oh, okay.
It's a type of...
Yes, I see.
Yeah. Man.
I didn't catch. I honestly didn't even catch it. That was such a hectic team fight. We just had to laser focus.
Nice, boy, but about as sharp as a bowling ball. The fast ones fly right over his head. So anyway, as we're ready to head on into hybrid, Boise State, if they go meta and they pick Kings Row, I mean, as you saw in the highlight reel that we played earlier, I mean, they have such a good win percentage on it. It really just, you know, UNLV is going to have to choose whether they think they can match Boise State on Kings Row, which they have, and they lost last time.
Yeah. Well, you know, spirit of the competition, I think that you need to sort of shake things up. You know, what is life without the spice of variety, right? We've seen a lot of Kings Row. We know it's a really good map. We've seen a lot of Blizzard World. I mean, only really this season. We haven't seen a ton of Blizzard World outside of that. But in the spirit of Orisa being very good, Numbani. I don't know if they can hear me on the stage back there, but help a brother out. We should go to Numbani.
I don't know. Blizzard World has been kind of the favorite pick, you know,
that's true.
The last few times, but I have a feeling we are swapping things up, going on over to Flashpoint, and I do not object to this at all. It's always good time for the Grand Championship, play in the most picturesque of locations, right in front of the Sludge Factory. I always appreciate the picturesque spectacle of the game.
And you know what else creates a really good spectacle is if you follow Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. you must catch them when they are unprepared. Understand the composition you're running and its playstyle, win fights before capturing the objective, and know the new cooldowns, especially when they're changed. Because, I mean...
Again, the April 1st patch.
Yeah, the April 1st patch was massive. It changed a lot of cooldown times, a lot of ultimate charge rates. I think some of them were up to 80% reduction. So definitely something to know as we move into the second game of this matchup, and honestly, I'm excited. We have not seen New Junk City at all. It has always been Surabasa. We saw New Junk City in that clip that was played at the start of the match. Maybe it'll go a little different for the Rebels. Maybe it'll go the same for Boise State. You just cannot tell until that final point ticks down.
Ready to head on into this match. Boise State already putting the pedal to the metal to get to that first point. They often like to claim the first team fight and then push them out toward the doors, not even allowing them to get close to the central point at all.
Yeah,
Strider already off to a bit of shenanigans. Will slam on down with the pile driver. And we see Hex is going to be the first blood of the match. QWERTY Tumor taking him out. Quite fittingly on the Doomfist. If you remember, UNLV, one of their star players, Silk Carpet, was a Doomfist main. They don't have him anymore, but they'll try to keep his spirit alive with their tank pick.
Unfortunately, they can't keep Omniflarp alive while keeping the Doomfist spirit intact. Points currently being contested. Strider in the back line manages to bait out Sleep Dart from Hertz, but it's not going to stop a Lyric Kunai going straight into him. Same with Kernmaster getting the same treatment. Clear pushing Mr. Mustard Man off the point, finally finishing him off with QWERTY Tumor soon to follow. And that is a point win for Boise State, keeping the clock ticking.
Clear already at 80% after one team fight. Looking at this Pulse Bomb online very soon. Lyric also gets a pick right off the bat onto Omniflarp. UNLV severely losing a lot of the damage that they can push out, and Strider is already setting up another ambush.
Yeah, that's 3 from Lyric currently. Strider does get punched right in the face, and that's going to be enough for her to take him out. Clear does get a little bit of help for Mr. Mustard Man. Lyric finally picking up the kill for him. Maxwell doing a little bit of chip damage from that center room. Really hard to push through with Afara. QWERTY Tumor, though, separated from his team. Can he manage to find a way out? He does, just barely, and Omniflarp manages to take out Maxwell on the way out. Pulse Bomb goes out to no avail, but out comes the Deadeye. Who does it find? Who does it miss? Nobody gets caught. Clear manages to get the pick on Hertz, and Omniflarp soon to follow, but that point has been flipped.
Ooh, QWERTY Tumor. Nice melee onto Clear. As things stand, UNLV has taken the point back. Boise State just needs to steal it from under their feet, and with Mr. Mustard Man gone. And now QWERTY Tumor soon to follow with how low on health he is. He manages to get away thanks to the Meteor Strike, and will now recontest on the point. Sound barrier now out from UNLV to help keep QWERTY Tumor alive. Boise State uses their own as well. They are down Maxwell, but they even things up by taking out Omniflarp. Boise State trying to fight from the high ground. Gets rid of Hertz, and now is forcing as much damage as they can onto QWERTY Tumor, who's hanging on by just one, still manages to get hacked, but will not survive anymore. And with that all-important tank finally taken down, Boise State secures victory.
You can kill one of me, but can you kill all of me? That's honestly how it feels watching Boise State, though. You can kill one, but does it really matter when we take out 2, sometimes 3, and occasionally even 4 players in the process? I mean, the second point hasn't even unlocked yet, and Lyric is already halfway towards his 3rd perk point. That is just insane how much damage he has been able to do just on the side. Lyric proving my point and taking out QWERTY Tumor before the point even unlocks again. Kernmaster brought really low, Hertz to half, and they are also forced back. Boise State is going to have the first capture of this flashpoint.
Well, and you remember the question I asked whether Strider would pick the Pack Rat perk because he's just in such a flank-heavy mood. Well, we got confirmation he is indeed going with that. His whole strategy just wants to try to get in their backline and take out those supports. I have to imagine that pile driver buff is next on the docket. Meanwhile, Boise State already taken the point and is past a quarter of the way there.
Yeah, Maxwell kind of getting peppered from all angles here. Mr. Mustard Man is going to be able to take him out, but Lyric taking out Omniflarp again. You wouldn't expect the Tracer to be so good in this duel, but Omniflare does have the Pulse Bomb for their next interaction. Hex wins out against Kernmaster in the Widow duel, and Mr. Mustard Man soon to follow. It is just Omniflare to keep this point alive. And oh wait, no. I would say Hertz is still there, but he is also dead.
All that progress UNLV had toward the point is going to be cruelly taken away from them. Now QWERTY Tumor trying to find just what line of attack he wants to do, but his backline is covered in mines as Strider drops the minefield. Boise State is going to have to deal with this Meteor Strike now popped by the Rebels, but Strider is too busy taking out the supports. Kernmaster eliminated. Trade back by QWERTY Tumor onto Lyric. Maxwell soon follows. The Rebels actually have an advantage for this fight. Can they take that and turn it into a captured point? Clear comes in and says, nah, gets rid of his Tracer counterpart. And Boise State trying to take this back, although QWERTY Tumor is still alive and quite a force to be reckoned with.
And UNLV, the Rebels, take their first flip of the point, or of the game, or of this map. They took the first point of this map, although Strider is right back on the point, ready to be a rat in the backline. And Kernmaster soon to fall to the barrage from Maxwell. He has had enough of the projectile spam. Out comes the Dragon Blade along with a Kitsune Rush, unfortunately completely dismantled by Clear. Hex taking out Mr. Mustard Man, making sure that that ultimate gets 0 value. And Boise State, while having expended both of their support ultimates, UNLV still does have their sound barrier. They might have lost the fight, but they will have a very important support ultimate to go into this next fight.
Oh, and now that major perk has come online for Strider, the backline is going to have an even worse time, as he's also got his minefields. He could push out so much damage just by himself as we get to the all-crucial third checkpoint, the one that could claim it for Boise State.
Yeah, especially for players like Strider, that pile drive gets so much more value than the other ultimate charges. I mean, doing a little bit of extra damage to tanks is okay, but I mean, why would you do that when you could deal almost 200% more damage with the main way you're getting kills? Strider, proving my point, taking out Kernmaster before he can use Sound Barrier. Mr. Mustard Man soon to follow, and unfortunately, Maxwell is the only Bronco to fall during that exchange. Oh wait, no, Lyric does get traded by Omniflare, but Clear quick to punch him right back in the teeth.
You know, this is one thing that UNLV really hasn't adapted to, is that they don't really have too much of their backline that can defend against, you know, this Strider going in. I mean, they've got the Lucio boop, I suppose, but kind of what you would want in like a Brig to help give that extra tankiness to your supports is just not coming out, and Strider's just having a field day, as is Clear, who eliminates Omniflare. Now they're going after Kernmaster, who's been the #1 target for Strider. QWERTY Tumor hasn't been able to fight with his whole team in any of these fights. Boise State is so all over the place.
He's playing Rainbow Six Siege, while everyone else is playing Overwatch, unfortunately. Off by himself, trying to roam, but unfortunately, the 5 stack is always on him.
I mean, I kind of like what I saw from UNLV with Diana and the Sleep Dart earlier. They did manage to hit Strider a good amount of times, and that led to a good amount of Strider eliminations, but there have been really no Wrecking Ball eliminations to show for this match. They're going to be forced to bring out the sound barrier as Strider aggro's onto them. Now he's got his sights set on more backline. Pulse Bomb out, misses its target. Another one in response, and Hertz will get the pick onto Clear. Kitsune rushing out for UNLV, as to Boise State. Omniflare and Hertz pick up one each. Barrage, they get right in Maxwell's face to negate it. And the Rebels cleaning on to a little bit of life.
QWERTY Tumor almost managed to punch Maxwell straight out of the sky with that rocket barrage. Just got a little bit too eager and used it a bit early, but good team fight from UNLV. I think the swap to Sombra was the better plan compared to the Genji. You can shut down the Wrecking Ball dives a little bit more, and I mean, Wrecking Ball isn't very great when you take the ball out of his hand, too. Although Strider with Minefield is going to dive on Master and just take him out before he can even say what is going on. Hertz has to teleport away, leaving the point completely open. Minefields come out, and it is going to be very difficult for anyone to get back onto this point in time. Strider spinning around. Omniflarp tries to touch, but one mine to the teeth is going to shut that down. Boise State taking another round for in this series.
That pile drive is so nasty. The fight starts. You don't know where the wrecking ball is, and he slams down onto you. And already more than half your health is gone. You just have no chance.
Yeah, you're already pretty much dead.
And we're going to see Hertz from UNLV get the nod for the play of the game. This fight that the Rebels brought out to try to keep their hopes alive.
And I will say, we saw a lot more life in them out of the back end of that match. The front end of the first one and the back end of the second. The Wrecking Ball composition has turned out to be a pretty big thorn in the Rebels' side. So I wonder how they're going to find a way to sort of combat it. I mean, we saw a little bit of success with Cassidy, but probably not as much as Omniflarp would have wanted. We saw some success with the Sombra, but once again, probably not as much as Mr. Mustard Man would have wanted. And then the really big kicker seemed to be Hertz on the Ana that was really shutting down those dives.
I will say also one more thing. Because Strider is demanding so much of their attention be taken away, it gave Maxwell on the Farah clear reign over the airspace. I mean, for a good amount of that fight, they had a Tracer and a Genji, which aren't necessarily the best choices to, deal that long-range damage you need to take out a Farah. Short of the one time they got right in his face, we saw the Doomfist leap their tank leap up right into his face to block the barrage and take him out. There really wasn't too much resistance onto Maxwell.
Hello, I would like to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. And then punches you in the mouth.
Yep, that's really the only strategy they had to try to shut down UNLV. But now we sit at the match point, and Boise State is looking at another championship. That means they'll have 5, and Doc could put one ring on each finger, complete the gauntlet.
Yeah, we need to get him like a glove where he can just put all of the rings on, and that way he can just put it on and snap his fingers and say, I am inevitable on, he gets on the desk here.
That is
and
true.
Then they
he
just
wants
win.
to. Yeah, they can just win where you can only hope. But, well, it's felt that easy for the Broncos, certainly, for this match. And UNLV is now going to have to choose what stage they want to fight on. An all-important map choice to try to keep it going. We have already kind of bucked the initial hybrid going second. It's starting out on Kings Row. But you have to think no matter what they choose, Boise State will have had practice on it, because we even saw Parisio be brought out, too, a little bit earlier this season in the PEC. So every single hybrid stage, even the ones that we forgot existed, the Broncos have had a bit of experience on, not to mention all the push stages. We've seen that. The only thing that I think the Broncos haven't had experience on has been the escort stages, but that's because they've always been at the very end,
yeah.
So we've never even seen them.
So maybe we'll see an escort stage come out just to throw them off a little bit. We saw a little bit of Route 66 in the 2023 matchup in that video. Maybe the Rebels want to run it back. You never know. But I will say, if they do have Maxwell still playing Farah, that's going to be a little bit of a wrench in their engine block, because, I mean, Farah kind of dominates that stage along with Ash, and I mean, we've seen how good Maxwell is at both projectile and hit scan characters. So it'll all just come down to map choice and honestly, I think UNLV is going to go for comfort here. They don't care how much Boise State has played on a map. They're going to play on a map that they are also comfortable with.
I hear you, but counterpoint, when you're going up against Boise State, is there really any comfort whatsoever?
Well, I mean, what you're comfortable with, I would say. Like, if you're more comfortable with oh no, it's going to be Runasapi. It's going to be push. But I mean, we've also seen a ton of Runasapi. It's by far the most popular push map since it was added. A lot of people have tons of experience with it. It is arguably the best layout for a push map as well. So it'll be one heck of a map to end things off on.
Yep, there certainly are a lot of fun routes to take, but I haven't really seen Boise State, when they have played on it, take that final point, just because it is so far, you got to go up the hill and into their spawn, which is so close. It kind of brings back a little bit of memories of of the final push on New Queen Street, which is also really hard to take outright. But if the Broncos want to make a huge statement, then why not now and just sweep it all on Runasapi? Before we head on down, we want to give a quick shout out to our partners at Dairy West. Boise State players fuel to win with the Dairy West fueling station, filled with chocolate milk, cheeses, and tons of dairy snacks. Dairy West fuels the Broncos.
Over the river and through the woods to the Rebels' Point we go. Or to the Rebels' Spawn we go.
That is one gigantic water wheel.
Yes. I wonder how much power something like that could produce.
I think it would take more power to pump the water up into that specific building there.
I mean, maybe it just has like that equilibrium where it produces enough power to pump.
Maybe it is one of those water wheels like if you see at the beginning of a subdivision, you know, it doesn't actually do anything, but it's there for the atmosphere.
It's there for the ambiance. As the French would say, ambiance.
Certainly one way to say it. Meanwhile, the only language Boise State wants to speak is that of victory.
And that is certainly not French.
As we head on into Runasapi to decide it all, the 2025 Mountain West Grand Championships in Overwatch.
Runasapi, we've seen a lot of different play styles, but it looks like Boise State is going to be sticking to their guns, quite literally. We got Strider with the 2 miniguns attached to the mobile hamster. Cordy Toomer rolling out on the D.Va, trying to take this middle point, pressuring Maxwell out of it, but Omniplar quick to run in and cancel out any overshield that Strider may be getting, but he is just putting so much pressure on everybody. Hurts and Mr. Mustard Man quick to fall, Omniplar soon to follow, and that is a first possession for Boise State.
Of course, this being April 1st, we got the googly eyes for everybody, including the robot, which I very, very much appreciate. But the victory that Boise State is on the cusp of is all too serious.
I do feel it is a little bit inconsistent, though, because the robot technically only has 1 eye, yet he has 2 googly eyes. Like, what's up with that?
It's April 1st.
They can at least be consistent in their tomfoolery. But while we're talking about tomfoolery, Mr. Mustard Man falls to a clear Strider dive, and Kernmaster quick to take out Maxwell, but there are no more supports left for the Rebels to utilize. Clear, taking out Omniflarp in the process, and now it is just Kernmaster who got back relatively quickly, and he's going to be sent right back to the spawn room. Oh, and the pulse bomb taken out by the pulse bomb.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
deleted just about all of his health, just needed one final hostile sneeze in his direction, and he fell on down. Boise State, though, has been using a lot of these ultimates as soon as they've come online, so they have been using them well to get to the first checkpoint, get those forward spawns. UNLV might have to be in a situation where they save up. We'll see how this pulse bomb how much this gets with Omniflarp.
Off the D.Va, back onto the Doomfist. Might be good for a little bit of a comfort pick, trying to match Strider's energy here. Strider doing a pretty good job at forcing Cordy Toomer off the point. Mr. Mustard Man trying to go for a dive, but gets left on really low health. Omniflarp goes down to Maxwell, and so does Minefield. Kernmaster goes down, same with Mr. Mustard Man, and it is just a Doomfist left on the point because Hertz abandoned him.
Boise State really hasn't been stopped at all in their forward push. UNLV is yet to get on the board with any sort of meters, but they have saved up 3 ultimates, and there goes the pulse bomb out. Kitsune rush in response. They'll only have to settle for the pulse bomb, taking Maxwell out of his duplicate. Cordy Toomer, though, first blood onto Lyric for the fight, and they'll get the backup from the sound barrier as well. This seems like it could be UNLV's first main take of the robot.
Yeah, forcing Strider out like that is not going to be good for staying on the point. Hex is forced out. He did manage to stay alive through that fight. Unfortunately, Lyric was the first one to go down. Pulse Bomb comes out of clear, doesn't quite find its mark, but he is able to get away unscathed. Boise State only has Sound Barrier to work with, while UNLV is coming up on both Doomfist and Sombra. So maybe that Meteor Fist will do something. Unfortunately, Mr. Mustard Man is going to be taken out before the fight even begins.
Bad start for the Rebels. That EMP goes offline for the time being. Boise State now trying to find their next target, which could be Cordy Toomer, who's low on health. If he charges up that Meteor Strike, he might be able to get away. But Omniflarp is eliminated. Boise State has the robot back to themselves, and they've got the Rebels running.
Oh, Strider stunned against the wall. Clear, trying to rotate around to find something. Kernmaster is going to go down, but Maxwell soon to be traded. Qwerty Tumor has to use Meteor Strike in order to keep himself in the game. Out goes the EMP, and Hertz is going to find Hex in the process. Not being able to wall ride is definitely a detriment. Hertz has to use Swift Strike to get away, and UNLV takes that robot right back.
I will say I'm glad the googly eyes are there, but I'm a bit disappointed Sombra said her usual old line instead of the propaganda is useless.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite touches, Fable Fools. But off we go, Hertz. Pile drive on down with a lot of focus being pushed onto him. Maxwell will get the final pick, and now he's going after Mustard Man and finds his target. Boise State is just maintaining this huge lead that they have. UNLV not able to get even 8 meters.
It's like Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes on a Plane, but for Strider, it's Sombra's in his lobby. I'm tired of these Sombras on my robot.
I'm just giggling the fact that you had to pause to censor yourself. That was pretty funny. You realized you were still on stream. I applaud you for that. Off we go, though. UNLV. An even bigger lead is being built up against them as Hex eliminates Mr. Mustard Man, and this Doomfist just doesn't even know where to look as Strider keeps hitting him in the back. He'll dive away, but up we go to this final hill and the final point with that spawn being so close for the Rebels. It's so tough to take it outright. They already take the robot back a little, but it's not going to be for long as Boise State uses 2 of their ultimate Sound Barrier and Pulse Bomb. Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything. Kitsune Rush in response by the Rebels, but they're not picking up any eliminations except for Hex and well, okay, you know what? Cast a Curse that. I'll completely own that. Hex and Max will go down, and Strider is left trying to reset. Will he be able to get away?
I mean, Qwerty Tumor is hunting him down really well, but unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Strider, Lyric with Swift Step is able to get in. Clear tries to go in, but Maxwell is at the wrong end of a Doomfist bullet. Clear trying to take an off angle onto Kernmaster. Strider once again hacked by Mr. Mustard Man, starting to feel himself a little bit more on the Sombra. Lyric does manage to get away from the Doomfist, if only just barely, but unfortunately for Kernmaster, he does not get so lucky. Qwerty Tumor finally finds his mark with Lyric, but Clear is going to find Mr. Mustard Man very soon after. That robot is getting taken back from the Rebels, and Strider trying to clean up the fight and help his teammates out. Clear does manage to get Hertz, and it is just Omniflarp and Qwerty Tumor. I guess it's just Qwerty Tumor now. Omniflarp met his match in Clear.
Boise State is now pushing on back. Strider having his minefield online. He is hacked, but that will come online shortly. Lyric also has the Kitsune Rush. UNLV has been saving up a bunch of their ultimates. They're going to use the first one, the Meteor Strike. Not able to really find anything. Clear now going after his target, and he doesn't even need to use the Pulse Bomb. He's got Kernmaster already.
He has the Kernmaster in the palm of his hand. He knows where he's going. Unfortunately for Mr. Mustard Man, he also, the invisibility is not going to save him from Clear tracking, and he goes down to Maxwell. Omniflarp does take out Lyric and Maxwell in the end, but in the duel, he is barely able to save Hertz, and unfortunately, he falls in the process. Boise State, while taking some serious casualties, were able to keep the robot pushing, and with forward spawn, they're going to be replenished very quickly.
Strider ready to move on up. See Omniflarp there, trying to find some sort of better angle, but Strider's just getting right in his face up on this high ground. He could just release the minefield in that small building and get some explosions going on up, but he'll save it for a better time. Qwerty Tumor gets a melee onto Maxwell. Omniflarp now really low on health. The robot is all the way back in the center, and Boise State haven't fully positioned themselves back to contest it.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're doing so much damage with the pile driver, it doesn't really matter how far you push that bot by yourself. Both supports down. It is just Qwerty Tumor left to contest the point, and he is going to fall very, very quickly. Mr. Mustard Man is able to get out with his own life, but not too much you can do as a lone Sombra. But there's a lot you can do as a Sombra with friends when all those friends happen to have ultimates.
Dive in.
Early engagement. Kitsune Rush comes out of Lyric. Nothing quite found. Mr. Mustard Man's off the map. Oh, not too often you see a Sombra die to fall damage. Omniflart goes down. Maxwell taking out Kernmaster. No ultimates used by the Rebels. QWERTY Tumor coming up close to his zone. And it looks like we are going to have a ult dump of a final fight on our hands. 55 seconds and counting. If the Rebels lose this one, it is over with that robot being so close. Hex does get hacked by Mr. Mustard Man, but with Minefield out, it's going to be hard to push forward. Hertz gets the swift step. Mr. Mustard Man goes down to Lyric, but the sound wave does come out to help him out in the end.
Ooh, he almost burned through all of the health that sound barrier gave to Hertz. They'll be able to find the elimination shortly afterwards. Meanwhile, Pulse Bomb placed onto Strider. UNLV trying to take the robot back, but there is so little time left for them, and they're losing people left and right, although they are managing to put some dents in the Broncos lineup as well, getting rid of Maxwell. And Clear now trying to escape, looking for that health pack. He'll be able to heal back up, though. Get me out of here.
Just trying to get away from another. Tracer v Tracer is always a little hard because you can't really outrun them. You just have to hope that you lose them. Strider engaging on the point, forced to back off. Not because he's low on health, but because he knows he can't take a 1v4. I mean, probably get one there, but in the end, it wouldn't be too great. Maxwell swapping over to the Genji for a little bit of a faster play style. Strider playing up in the air. Kernmaster caught off guard, taken out once again. Isn't able to do anything. Kitsune Rush does come out, but with one support down, is it going to be worth it? Yes, it is. Mr. Mustard Man gets the EMP off, is able to get down, but Hertz taken down low without Swift Step is gone. Hertz dead and Strider hanging on by a thread. Mr. Mustard Man is taken out. Omniflart soon to follow, and Boise State punches their ticket.
Another 3-0 sweep in the Mountain West Finals and another championship ring for the Broncos. 5 years now of being at the top of the pack, and Strider will get the play of the game to end it all.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean, there's just not a whole lot you can do if you're UNLV, just letting the Wrecking Ball just run through your entire lineup so fast, so efficient, with surgical accuracy.
Boise State picks up the championship. A great mood booster as they get ready to head to Vegas in a couple of days to fight for the PEC championships. Having both the Mountain West and PEC championships would certainly be the best, one of the best endings to their regular season they could have asked for.
Oh yeah, definitely. The doubleheader, if you will. We are the champions, my friends. But what a good game out of Boise State. You could tell that they had a handle on that game from start to finish, and there just wasn't a whole lot you could do if you were the Rebels. You divert your attention from the front line to deal with Strider, you die. You deal with Strider, and he might die, but the rest of his team doesn't, and QWERTY Tumor is dead. And there's just not a whole lot that you can do in that situation. But congratulations to the Broncos. What a incredible fight. Although I am a little disappointed. You promised that you had aces up your sleeve, and you didn't show them.
No, maybe they didn't need to show them. Yeah.
Maybe they're just saving
I don't know.
them.
Maybe that's a question we can ask them in the post-game interview, which we usually get to after the highlights that we have for you. So we will give you some top 5 plays of the game and then be back with a little game post-game interview. Don't go away. And congrats to the Broncos for being the champs yet again. But off we go. Hertz. Pile drive on down with a lot of focus being pushed onto him. Maxwell will get the final pick, and now he's going after Mustard Man and finds his target. Boise State is just maintaining this huge lead with the sleep dart. Boise State just seems to be toying with their food as Kernmaster is eliminated. They'll finally get rid of Strider, but at what cost? All their attention is diverted to him as Maxwell and Clear just pummel the Rebels back to start.
That's the problem. Is able to get down, but Hertz taken down low without Swift Step is gone. Hertz dead and Strider hanging on by a thread. Mr. Mustard Man is taken out. Omniflart soon to follow, and Boise State punches their ticket.
EMP and very soon Barrage available as well as the Nano Boost. And there goes the EMP and hits the entire backline of UNLV. Both their supports are wiped out, both DPSs, and QWERTY Tumor can only head off the edge.
Lyric, nothing quite found. Must remains off the map. Oh, not too often you see a Sombra die to fall damage. Omniflare goes down. Maxwell taking out Kernmaster. No ultimates used by the Rebels. QWERTY Tumor coming up close to his own, and it looks like
Idaho's Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Let me show you what I got.
With the Dairy West Fueling Station, we really wanted to create a place that our players could come and be fueled and hydrated in a healthy way, fuel their minds, fuel their bodies so they can compete at the highest levels. Dairy West has really allowed us to do that, and we're excited to see what this space turns into. This is only phase one. There's many iterations to come. It's truly unique in college esports, and we're excited to see how that continues to evolve. We're really thankful for Dairy West's support and look forward to continue working with them.
Let me show you what I got.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
Hello and welcome right back to the Boise State Esports Arena. We have just come off one of the most anticipated games of the season for the Mountain West, and honestly, it couldn't have gone better for us in the end. And we did have the pleasure of having Clear on stage with us right now for a little bit of a post-game interview. So, Clear, tell us a little bit about the game. What were your thoughts going into it? This is a pretty big rivalry, and it has been for the past few years. So, what was your thought process going into it?
I wouldn't say that I was too worried. I think that we had a good warm-up and we were really going into it prepared and excited. We kind of just wanted to end it quickly and play really well to show that we're a really strong team, and I think we did just that today. I think we played really well, and I'm really proud of us.
Yeah, I definitely saw it with the Strider gameplay, especially with the Wrecking Ball. And, I mean, there were a lot of discourse around the Wrecking Ball, or not just Wrecking Ball, the perks in general for Overwatch, and how they tended to not make good characters better, but sort of help teams and players. And we saw that a lot tonight. And just give us a little bit of your thought process going through the games, because we didn't really see a lot change up between maps and players. I mean, we saw Maxwell and like 6 different players tonight, but that was really the biggest thing that changed in the matchup.
I think that UNLV really likes to play Doomfist. I don't think Doomfist is a very strong character right now, though, so I think it was pretty easy to beat it, and we were really dialed in on our ball composition, kind of our bread and butter composition, and I think we countered what they wanted to do to us really well, and that made it pretty easy for us in the matches.
Yeah, he was trying to match the Strider one-trick energy.
Essentially, yes.
Play an off-meta tank and hope it works out. Just one more, another question for you tonight. The CECC Championship is this weekend, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. The Mountain West Championship went really well for you guys tonight, as we all just saw. Is there anything that you guys want to be working on or that you feel like needs to improve beforehand?
I think that we're looking pretty good to go into the PEC LAN in Vegas this weekend. I think if we play like we did today, we'll do really well. I think that I have a couple secret characters up my sleeve that if some of my more traditional characters aren't working, I can pull those out, and I think that'll help us win. Not going to go too much into it for live, but let's just say you might see some characters that you haven't normally seen me play very much recently.
Yeah, and I'm pretty excited for it personally. I mean, we've seen a lot of off-meta picks from you guys just for the entire season, and honestly, pretty much as long as Strider has been here, we've seen those off-meta picks, and it has been a real treat. And before we go, do you have any final remarks about UNLV, just how they were playing and your rivalry in general?
I think I want to give a huge shout-out to UNLV. They're really nice people. I'm friends with a couple of them. Always a good time playing versus them. I do got to say one thing, though. I think at some point we got to stop calling this a rivalry. That's all I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to leave it off.
Whoa, that is a lot to take in all at once. But I am glad that you came on to the show with us and were willing to talk a little bit tonight. Congratulations once again for your win tonight, and good luck next weekend at CEC Championship Finals in Vegas.
Thank you very
make
much.
sure that you tune in to Boise State, because we will also be doing the B stream for that event as well. And with that, I would like to close off the Mountain West Finals with a hasta la vista, sayonara. Hope you guys had a great time, and make sure you join us on Saturday for that B stream and catch the Broncos for the CECC Championships in Vegas this weekend.
Have a good night. Champs, let's go! Woo!